Hello everyone and welcome back to the third channel. I have found the ISO and the correct buttons. Well done to me. Now this video is completely riddled with spoilers. Spoiler warning, you've just got a spoiler warning. What you're about to hear is a spoiler for Paul Whitehouse's, not a complete spoil, but bits might be spoiled, like an odd section here and there might get spoiled. Because, thank you to UK TV, they have given me the opportunity to watch Paul Whitehouse's sketch show Years, the 4-part series, and it's out this Thursday. Today's recorded on a Tuesday, but you'll be watching this at 6 AM on Thursday 27th of June 2024, and it'll be out at 9 PM on the June the 27th 2024 on the channel Gold, and available for later on demand if you have a Sky box or any box in like a Sky Q type thing that allows you to get on demand content. It won't be available on UK TV Play because unless it gets rerun on Dave or Drama or W or Yesterday, it will not be available to watch via UK TV Play. So I'll tell you the negatives before I tell you the positives, because there's one negative. There's two negatives really, but one the major negative. Paul Whitehouse wasn't in a studio. The imagery I got given, the imagery I was looking at before I did it, what place to play it to me said Paul Whitehouse is going to be there in person, in a studio, and it's going to be amazing. It's not going to be a YouTube framed where it's just a voiceover. But after you've got over the fact that, oh, this could be done in a studio, this would have been better in a studio, once you've stopped thinking, yeah, it's better elsewhere, you then just enjoy it for what it is. It's Paul Whitehouse, who's known for Harry Enfield and Chums, Harry Enfield television programme, the Fast Show, sketch show wise. There is 3 main sketch show credits. He is the best person for the job, and the thing that sets this apart from other shows in this same nature is this is curated based on what Paul knows of his time working in the sketch world, because he no longer does sketch comedy anymore, apart from the Fast Show live tour show that's currently touring the UK and Ireland right now. I think it might still be happening. It goes into detail, a lot of detail, in a good way, I personally think, because it means that we get a lot more detail about how sketch shows actually work and why sketch shows were a big deal at that time. Because life is always important if you, what's the word for it, if you explain what it's like then to now. So it starts off early on 70s, and each episode is a new decade. So the end of it, the final episode is the 2000s, it's the noughties. So it's the Catherine Tate show and Little Britain era. The episode before that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the 90s, which is the Fast Show, and Goodness Gracious Me, and The Real McCoy. And before that, which is episode 2, is the 80s, and then before that is the 70s. So we've got 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties. Does this mean we'll get a second series that charts everything further on from the point of where we left off with the noughties, see where sketch shows are now? Or is that just going to be a special looking at where are sketch shows now? Because then you could talk about Deaf Funny, the one that was on BBC Alba. You could talk about all the sketch shows that the BBC Scotland produced, and all the children's sketch shows of the time. So a retrospective would work in that sense for that reason. I do apologise that the light's gone out. I will turn on this light now. so that we've still got light in this video. So overall, I think as a show, it worked really well. All the reviews that it's been given as of Tuesday the 20, let me have a look what date it is, 25th. All the reviews they've got now are 5 stars positive, because it is brilliant. It's insightful, you get to relive some of the best sketches, but they're all created by sketch royalty. Now, for young people in comedy, like myself, me, Chrissy Derbyshire, Kathy Rivette, Hare, Chris Jack, and other up-and-coming comedians that are dotted about doing podcasts, and other comedians like Vic Slate and all these, we're all in the same place of, at this point in the comedy world, we're all still do sketches and still try and produce sketches. A lot of comedians in that vicinity still do sketches, because there's not a point where you grow out of them. There's a point where you then pick a character from your sketch and then have a long career with that certain character if you go that route, or you end up leaving that area of comedy altogether and just focus on stand-up or focus on one area of comedy. It's not a negative. It means that sketch shows aren't being made as relatively, because it's like a younger man's game and all the younger comedians producing stuff online these days. So this show is literally like, here's what happened and here's why they're popular, but certain sketches that aren't appropriate for the modern, for now, aren't like not what we would do now. He made it clear that this isn't where we're at in society now, but then it was really funny, and this is why. And every so often when, let's say for instance, there's a sketch where there's a reference, where Paul's not talking, but there's a reference that's been given in that joke, in that sketch, text would appear to explain that. Like, very briefly it would explain who, for instance, the sketch for Kevin Turvey, which is Rick Mayall's character as Kevin Turvey, which is fantastic, I add. If you ever get a chance, well, you will get to watch when you watch this show, but when you look at it, he mentions Noel Gordon. Noel Gordon was, or Nolly as everyone called her, she was like the main star in ITV's soap opera Crossroads, which was about a motel, and it mentioned it. I'm just trying to work out the correct words. It mentioned kept the joke in and all this, but it wrote underneath it who Noel Gordon was and why that joke is funny. As in, like, why that reference is funny, because it's a reference that needs to be there and needs to stay in there. But for younger viewers or watching it going, oh, I've never heard of that. Who's Noel Gordon? You don't have to go to parents going, Mum, Dad, who's Noel Gordon? What? What's Crossroads? What? ITV? What? Central? What? Thames? What do you mean? What? And you don't have to talk about the past or anything. It's just text appears going, never mind. They've explained on the screen. Continue making the spaghetti bolognese. Thank you. And it explains what that sketch is. So you, as a younger viewer, probably 9 or 10 or whatever age you are, that might not know what Crossroads was in any of the iterations that it is, or haven't seen none of the ITV drama yet, that written by Russell T Davies, then you would be on a plain sailing second going, I do know what that is. I do know who that is. And that makes sense now. And Paul's narrative throughout the 4 episodes is amazing. It's brilliant. It's insightful. And you learn who he's friends with throughout this and talk about his favourite. And you learn facts like I won't spoil some of the most interesting facts, but you learn more stuff, and you say the only thing that isn't good, other than him not being there in person in a studio, surrounded by one of old TVs and sketches playing behind him, the element of, what do I call it? The element of what is a sketch show, what isn't. It's like what's a panel show, what isn't. It's the element of Royce and Vasey and the League of Gentlemen. On the outside, you can watch their sketches individually when the upload cuts to YouTube and go, that's a nice sketch, that's a good sketch, but then there's a narrative. So is it a sketch or is it a sitcom? That's the dilemma you have. And Paul's obviously gone, no, this is a sketch show, end of story. So that's alright, but that was the only bit that you're like, yeah, slightly crossing the boundary there. But we did need to mention Reece Smith, Steve Pemberton, Jeremy Dyson and Mark Gatiss at some point anyway, because they are in the list of powerhouses of comedy. The only sketch show, they didn't mention a lot of sketch shows. There was a few that they could have mentioned, like the sketch show starring Tim Vine and Lee Mack, along with Ronnie Anaconda and Karen Taylor, and I can't think of the last man, I do apologise. But luckily they mentioned the Catherine Tate Show and all these other sketches like The Fast Show, Goodness Gracious Me, Big Train, Smack the Pony. But if there's a second series we could go more in detail, and I think overall the show was insightful, entertaining, and just overall a good homage to the sketch show format. So, there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Time on to end. Bye!